Welcome back to another episode of Planet Z News. We're halfway through the regular fantasy season. Nobody is mathematically eliminated from playoff contention just yet, but we're starting to see some teams dip below a 25% chance to make it. Let's take a look at our standings after Week 7 in the Hedges Fantasy Football League. In first place, we still have Jared and Elizabeth locked in their tie at the top. A difference of only 8 points separates the two from the official first and second place ranks. Behind them, uncontested, is Rachel. She's sitting at a comfortable 5-2. You could say that she has nothing to worry about, but I know Rachel well enough to know she'll find something to worry about anyway. She's got an 82% chance to make the playoffs. In fourth place, Stacy's right behind her at 4-3, and the last winning record you'll see as we make our way down the standings. You know, as someone that's big into fantasy football, I meet and talk to a lot of people about fantasy football and their different types of leagues. People often ask me, is your league very competitive? To which I always answer, everyone's trying just hard enough not to come in last place. And that used to bother me. But this week I was talking to Justin, and he helped me remember that this is something special that we get to do as a family. Well, a family plus Jared. Anyway, speaking of barely trying, we have entered the losing record section of the standings, where Matthew, Justin, Rebecca, Shandell, and Dylan are all tied for 5th place at 3-4. This cluster of 5 teams is incredibly hard to predict. But according to the fabulous ESPN Fantasy app, none of these teams have over a 50% chance to make the playoffs as of right now. And last, and certainly least, the teams tied for last place. Jake, Shireen, and myself are all at the bottom of the standings at 2-5. Now, I see you out there, pattern recognizers. Yes, we're all Michigan teams. Yes, 2 of us are the lowest scorers on the entire season. Yes, we feel the last place punishment looming. But it's not over yet. We can bounce back. Can you tell I bought a whole case of Coca-Cola? And speaking of losers, I want to do something a little different this week, with a new segment I call In this segment, we want to focus on teams that have been a little bit more win challenged. No team with a winning record won this week. So we asked team managers around the league how they felt about their matchups last week, and which players they're saltiest with. Shireen told me Dallas Goedert. She told me owning him is just irritating. Matthew told me he's salty with Derrick Henry this week for being on bye when he needed him most. Rebecca told me Saquon Barkley is who she's upset with. She says, I thought you were better than that. Justin told me he's salty with Breece Hall. He says it feels like he wasted a draft pick because his fantasy output just isn't justifying a starting spot on the roster. But he's too good not to start. Dylan is upset with a player not even on his team. He told me he's mad at CJ Stroud for being ass. And as a special message from Dylan, this goes out to Zach Charbonnet.
How would you like to suck my balls?
Yes, he really asked me to do that. And that leaves me with Travion Henderson, who averages 6.5 points weekly, but I spent a 4th-round pick on him. This week, he had just 2 touches, so I'm a salty dog. Now that all that negative energy is out, we can start to focus on the positive news, like this weekend's big news. The crown jewels were stolen from the Louvre in Paris, and Jake and Trisha had a baby. Crazy, I know, but they're saying that there's an ongoing investigation, and they're confident they can find the jewel thieves soon. Thanks. Anyway, that's our episode this week. Thanks to those of you who actually watched this, and I love you, and good night. Bye.